Recording in progress.
Jenny, it looks like you just finished your workout. You did. Well, thank you for coming. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, 4 a.m. My goodness. That's dedication right there. All right. So hopefully today you can hear me over the sound bowls this time. But we're going to just drop in to our bodies right before we get started again, just like we did last time. So just taking, oh, what's going on with my hair here? Taking some nice deep breaths in all the way down into your belly. If it's safe to do so, you can close your eyes. Just focusing on your heart center, your heart chakra. Just sending a wave of energy all the way down through the bottoms of your feet, down to the core of the earth. As you really anchor in to the center of the earth. Allowing that energy to run up through the center of the earth, all the way up through the bottoms of your feet, into your knees, into your hips, all the way up into your heart center. Then just taking another deep breath in, seeing the crown of your head opening like a door and shooting up a beam of light or grounding cord that goes from the top of your head all the way up through source. All the way through the universe, connecting to source, to God, to your higher self, whatever that is for you. As you connect in, seeing that energy flowing down all the way through time and space into the top of your head, all the way down until it meets in your heart center, mixing and melding with that Mother Earth energy. As you feel that energy of Mother Earth and Source come together, your heart, just see that ricocheting off every single cell. Every cell touches another cell, and so on and so forth, all the way through your body. Beautiful. All right. So I'm going to stop the bowls and then we'll get started. Thank you, everyone, for coming live. So appreciate seeing all of your beautiful faces. We'll start sharing screen here. And I fully realized that I misspelled sound there, but it still came up. So, you know, whatever. Perfect. Where are we? We're on day 2. And so what's on the menu today? We're going to be talking a little bit about triggers and emotional energy and how we can heal our triggers. How that emotional energy stores and creates a stuck result type of thing. We're going to talk about how you release and rewire, and the importance of bringing your nervous system into alignment, which is essentially your power. That's the power for everything that you do. And we're going to talk a little bit about going deeper. So let's see if I can't bring this over this way. I don't like that. Hold on. Go this way? Nope. Okay. Well, that's what we'll do. I'll put this up here. All right. So Before we dive in, I just want to be fully transparent here. At the end of today's session, I am going to introduce you to my program. It is an opportunity to continue to work together. Um, if you're here for the healing and insight only, that is totally cool. Like, that's beautiful. Like, I appreciate you still being here. But if you have been feeling the shift or want to go all in with full support and structure and massive growth this summer, like if you're ready, just stick with me to the end because we'll talk about that a little bit. But what I have for you is it's really potent and powerful. So today we are going to be talking about releasing triggers. So triggers are not something that we should be scared of. Triggers are actually more messengers. They are like it's not about what's happening in that moment. It's not about how your husband pissed you off because he left the like dishes in the sink again. Like it's more about the memory. Like it's a sign that there is something in the past that still gets to be released. So it's not, you're not crazy. It's just you're carrying some unreleased emotion. So again, it's not a random annoyance or inconvenience. It's just like a little alarm system. It's like your subconscious saying, like, hey, like this is something to pay attention to. Like we need to look at this. So it goes a little bit like this. You have your trigger. So like the trigger happens, it activates an old emotional memory that has been stored inside of your body. That emotion is going to flood your system. So that can look like fear or shame or guilt or hurt or sadness or anger, maybe. And so your nervous system is going to scramble because it thinks that like it's going into fight or flight, like it's going to try to protect you. So this is where you end up reacting. Like you snap or you shut down or like if you're fawning, maybe you're people pleasing or you spiral or you avoid it completely. Maybe you over explain. So without even like thinking about it, this is something that happens like 2.5 seconds. Like it's just triggered and then that emotional response kicks in and then you react. So if if you don't know what's going on, it definitely it feels like it's true, like it's truth, like it feels like you. This is just how I always respond to this. Like I don't know why, but this is because of some outside force or whatever like event that's going on. Like, but the truth is, you're not reacting to the present moment. It's because you're outside of the present moment. You're reacting to the meaning your subconscious assigned based on your past wounds. So, why do they feel so intense? It's because your body is holding on to those memories, like especially the emotionally charged ones. So, when something in your current life resembles the past, you know, moment of hurt or betrayal or shame or fear, like it's going to automatically kick in. It's like hitting play on an emotionally stored file. And your body goes like, I've been here before. Like, let's do the thing. Let's fight, freeze, fawn, flee, like let's do it right now, like fast. So like your blood gets pumping, your heart speeds up. You're just like in that response, like you have to make the response. So even if nothing actually physically feels unsafe in this moment, your body, it doesn't know that. So that's why you go into this response. It's basically, it could be like a simple comment or a delay in a text reply, or, like today, I left the house to go to the chiropractor. And so my kids were at home, and I texted them to see if they wanted me to bring something home for them, and they weren't responding. So my mind is going into like, oh no, is the house burning down? Is like, did they like run out the door and like go live with the neighbor family or something? Like, what's going on? And why aren't they answering me? Well, get home, they're both asleep on the couch. So that's a example of like what your mind can do to you. Like it goes to all like worst like case scenarios, right? So um you have this expectation like that it's the end of the world. Like your brain's just automatically going to go there. And it's because your body thinks it's protecting you from the first time you felt that, from the first time that pain was there that was never resolved. So breaking it down, like that trigger, emotional response, and the reaction. So maybe somebody, like you're talking about your program, and somebody makes, or like your product, and somebody makes a comment about the pricing. So the emotional response might be like, you feel unworthy. And then you end up lashing out, or maybe you, next time you start to undercharge, or you over explain to justify like your value. Or let's say like a friend doesn't invite you to something. So emotionally you feel rejected. Then you end up withdrawing, or you get passive aggressive with them, or you spiral into like this puddle of like woe is me and loneliness, right? Or maybe somebody questions your abilities, and then you start to feel ashamed. And so in response, you tend to overwork or overperform to prove it, like, or even like procrastinating, like out of fear. So you start to see like the loops that we go into here, even just from like a small thing, seemingly small thing, right? So your reaction, it's just your nervous system's best attempt to avoid feeling that original wound again. So the empowering part is that once we start to become aware of this, become aware of the patterns, when you name that emotion and pause the reaction, you start to take your power back. So you shift from that reactive to a more regulated state. And so that shifts you from like victim into sovereign. So you begin to respond with awareness instead of defense. You say what you actually mean. You set boundaries, and you stop letting your past control your present, because that's part of the problem. That's why we keep ending up in the same situation over and over and over. We're living our lives from our past and not our present. Yeah, name it, tame it, and claim it. Exactly. So again, it's not about what's happening now, the trigger. It's about what already happened that never got processed or felt or resolved. So if they're messengers from the past, they're delivering emotional energy that never had the safety or the space or support to be fully expressed. So when someone says something that makes your, chest tighten, or your stomach flips, and you just have like that frog in your throat, and or like rage building up, like it's rarely about them. It's your body saying, "Hey, this reminds me of that one time that we didn't feel safe. Let's protect ourselves." And what people often misunderstand, I'm going to take my gum out because I keep chewing it in between. But what most people don't understand is that, you know, triggers are not signs that you're broken. They're not signs that you're weak. So again, they're just invitations. They're your nervous system Again, showing you where energy got stuck and is still living in your body. It's like a bookmark in time, just waiting for you to come back and finish that chapter. So when you say, I'm so triggered, what you're really saying is a younger version of me just got activated. And he or she needs to be acknowledged and seen and loved, right? That's why the inner child work is so effective. So if you keep getting triggered by similar people or situations or conversations, like take notice. It's not because you're cursed or you're doomed, right? It's because your subconscious is looping. It's trying to loop the lesson. It's waiting for you to look at it, to integrate it. And you'll know that you've healed the trigger, not when it stops happening. That's the important part, but because it stops hijacking you. So even in this work, like I still get triggered, right? Like it still comes up and I still feel it, but you respond instead of react. You stay grounded in who you are now instead of who you were then. So like this isn't about judgment. Like this is just being curious of like, where have I felt this before? Like, and really feeling the feeling without assigning a blame to it. So this is where we were talking about like being that conscious observer, like way back here, like 100-foot view of what's going on, like the thoughts that are running through your mind. Like don't judge it. Don't judge it as good or bad, right or wrong, right? It's just a thought. It's not you. It's just a thought your brain is having. And then learn to regulate your nervous system in the moment. So how this looks is, like just slowing down your breathing, taking breaths down into your belly, taking a like 4-count breath in, 4-count breath out. One of the easiest ways to regulate your system, especially like if you're having trouble going to sleep or you're kind of like in that anxiety state, is to allow that exhale, the outer breath, to be longer than the inhale. So you could do what's called a 4-7-8 method, which is basically you take a 4-count inhale in, you hold it for 7 seconds, and then you exhale for 8. That immediately is going to pull your nervous system out of that dysregulated state, that fight or flight, into a parasympathetic, the rest and digest state. So it's really good if you're trying to calm yourself down to go to sleep. If you have insomnia, it just brings you back from being out here. And then acknowledge that younger part of you. Give that younger part of you what they needed back then. So, like this is where we get to start, like we rewrite the narrative from a place of power and not protection. So, part of the reason that we get stuck here is because of that unprocessed emotion. Like it's those sabotage loops. Again, we're living in the past, basing all of our future experiences based on things that have happened in the past. So the emotional charge behind that actually lowers your manifestation, like your frequency for manifesting things, for things to be able to receive. So nervous system regulation is your power. It's your portal to peace. So if you ever feel like you're doing all of the things, right? You're meditating and listening to like the binaural beats, and you're calling in your your future self and you're doing your vision board and all the things, right? And you're still not getting where you want to go. Like the clients aren't converting, the money is not flowing, the relationships keep repeating, and the confidence is inconsistent. Again, it's not because of you. It's not because you're lazy. It's not because you're unqualified. It's not because you're doing it wrong. It's likely because of unprocessed emotional energy that's been stuck. And so every time you felt, and we talked about this, the body remembers everything, every rejection, every time you felt unseen, every time you felt unsafe or unworthy or abandoned or ashamed, like you didn't get to process it fully because maybe life got busy or you were told to be strong or no one taught you how to whatever. Like the emotion didn't just go away. Like you stuffing it down, all that did was store it in your nervous system, in your tissues, in your fascia, your subconscious mind, and in your energy field. So this is emotional residue. It's invisible, but it runs everything. So when we have unprocessed emotions, we're sending a static like signal out to the world. Like think of your desires as like a radio frequency. Like you want it to be on, like here the rock station is 101.5. Like we want it to be on 101.5. We want the signal to be clear because that's the station that we want to listen to. That's where we're like trying to get all our desires or whatever. And you have that when you're putting it on auto tune and it's like in between stations and it's like trying to find the station but it's got all the static, like when you have that staticky energy, that frequency, like it's not sending a clear signal out to the universe. So when you have that stored emotional energy, it's like trying to tune into abundance on a channel that's staticky. Like maybe you hear like every other word or, part of the song. You want to feel safe showing up fully, but your body still holds on to fear from being shut down in the past. So if you want to call in like soulmate clients, but your system still carries stories of unworthiness or not being picked before, or you want consistent, let's say like 10K months, right? That's what everybody seems to want. But your energy is still tied to trauma around money or scarcity, or, like that's basically, it's just your nervous system doing what it knows how to do. It just knows how to keep you safe. And safe often means just running the same loop over and over and over. Because again, your brain likes repetition, so it can automate it. So that often, you know, equates to being small and stuck and spinning in the same cycle over and over and over again. So once the emotional charge is cleared, your energy starts to become clean and magnetic, and your actions stop coming from fear or proving. You no longer sabotage right before the breakthrough, and you attract differently. You show up differently, you lead differently, you receive differently. So that's why healing is a strategy. So when you rewire the emotional patterns, the results will start to follow. And this comes in all areas of life. So how we release, again, this is part conscious, part subconscious. So the subconscious side could be the somatic breath work, the hypnosis, the energy clearings, the groundings. Consciously, we have to make sure our brain is on board with all this. Like our conscious mind is on board. Otherwise, we'll reprogram all the old programs that we don't want. So the real path to freedom, alignment, and results that actually stick is it's a combination method. So again, we can't change anything that we're unaware of. We have to bring awareness to it. That's the conscious side of it. We have to understand the pattern. Most people are living on this emotional autopilot. They're reacting from past wounds, their generational imprints, their subconscious beliefs without even realizing that they're doing it. So if you ask yourself, what triggers me most right now? What's the emotion that comes behind that trigger? And what's the story behind that? Like, we don't have to tell the story again, but we know that emotion, that thought creates an emotion, the emotion creates a behavior or an action, and that's going to create your result. So it's time to really look at the story and be like, does this even belong to me? Do you know that with eyewitnesses that the police can't even really rely on them because everybody remembers something differently. Somebody might say that, oh, it was a gray truck that ran the red light, but no, it was actually a green van, right? Like, we can't rely on our own memory. And the longer and the more time that goes from the memory to the future, the more time in between there, the more the memory is going to change. The more we remember it completely differently. So that's why when, like if any of y'all have brothers or sisters, that's why a brother or sister may remember something happening in your childhood completely differently than you. Because your brain does this thing where it's going to try to fill in the gaps, right? Like none of the memories are actually truth. It's just you're remembering what you think you remember, and like every single time, like every year that passes by, your memory changes a little bit about what actually happened. So really, the memory of that instance might be completely opposite of what actually happened. So you can't take any of your stories or your memories as truth. This is where we start to get into, like radical truth telling, right? Like how much of this is not actually truth? How much of this is just me making shit up, right? So we have to become that observer, or like bring awareness to the thoughts that we're having about something that might not even be true. And then that loop will start to unravel. So you can't think your way out of emotional pain. And yeah, you got to feel it to free it. Stored emotion is simply energy and motion that never got to move. So when your nervous system holds on to stress and grief and guilt or trauma, it becomes the foundation of your choices, your reactions, your blocks. It's how you talk to somebody, relate to somebody, get in a relationship with someone, like even how you drive in traffic. So to release it, again, like breath is one of the biggest things to regulate your system. Yeah, feel it to free it. And we don't want to do that. You know, we've been taught to not feel it. We don't want to feel it. We want to stuff it. So breathing deeply, doing breath work, moving emotional energy through the body so it can be released. Also, something you can do is move intuitively, like shake, stretch, dance, tap, you know, emotional freedom technique. Let the body express what the mind cannot. And we want to express ourselves, right? It doesn't have to be saying all the things we always wanted to say to our mother that we never said. Like it, it's nothing like that. You can journal it. You can just say it out loud while you're alone. You can cry, you can scream, you can sing in your car. Give your emotion a voice so it doesn't have to hide. This isn't about reliving trauma. We don't have to go back and experience it again. It's about completing the cycle your body never got to finish. So, again, like rewiring that thought loop. Can I think a different thought about this? Once your body has softened and your heart is open, your brain is primed for new beliefs. So that's when we kind of swoop in with that subconscious reprogramming side of it. We shift things like I always mess things up to I trust myself to get it right. Or, I have to burn myself out for success to I receive abundance with ease and grace. So it's repetition. And then you start to embody that new identity. And this part is often missed, but it is essential because we want to ask, like, how would the rewired part, like the new me, move through the situation, the higher self? How would the whole sovereign version of me choose to respond or react or act in the situation? And what gets to be true for me now? So taking, like it doesn't have to be these big, huge steps, just like these little micro actions, just bringing the awareness and matching to your new identity in your nervous system. Because again, like your your subconscious thinks anything that is new or foreign is unsafe. So as you start to take these little micro steps and proving to your subconscious that it is safe to go outside of the cave a little bit, right? Like the cave we've been living in, your nervous system will begin to trust as well and trust this new way of being. And again, it's going to make it your default. Your neural pathways going in that direction towards what you actually want is going to be bigger and stronger and more reinforced than the little, roads that we've been used to trekking down. So we're going to release the emotional charge. We're going to regulate with, and this is also bringing your heart and your brain into coherence. And we rewire the subconscious beliefs to reinforce the new identity through action. And that's how you break the old loops and become the version of yourself, of your soul, that your soul's always known. So some myths I like to go over with subconscious work and hypnosis, because a lot of the media likes to portray as, you know mind control, or that you're going to open Pandora's box, or like that you're going to spill all your secrets. And like it can feel unsafe, just the thought of like what's going to happen in there, right? Like, am I going to be completely, um, under somebody else's control? So none of that happens. None of that happens. So with hypnosis and even breath work, like you are in a trance-like state with breath work, but um, it's more like a meditation. So I equate it a lot like a meditation. Like you are in a very deeply relaxed state. Yes, your subconscious mind is open so that you're taking in information a little bit easier without that critical faculty of your mind. But you're always in control. Like this isn't one of those stage show things where I'm gonna, make you come up and quack like a duck or anything like that. The only people that actually do that are the ones that they test them before they bring them up on stage. They know that they actually do. They're susceptible to that because they're showing signs that they actually want to go up there and quack like a duck. So unless you really want to, that's not going to happen. So there's no barking like dogs, standing on your head, things like that. It's just you're everything that you want to do, you will do. Everything you don't want to do, you won't do. But you're going to be out of that analytical part. It gets a little bit easier to rewrite in those states. And so we talked a little bit about nervous system alignment, and that's where your power lies. So when you're in burnout, that is a dysregulated state. And in survival mode, that's dysregulation. So we're going to move that into more regulation by taking care of your nervous system, by bringing you back into your sovereignty. You get to feel safe and supported in success. So the truth that, you know, so many people feel but don't have language for, again, it's not being lazy or unmotivated or broken. Like your nervous system's just misaligned. It's misaligned with the reality that you're wanting to create. You're not in alignment. So the nervous system is everything in your command center. It's your brain, it's your spinal cord, it's all the neural pathways. It controls everything. It's your energy, your emotions, your ability to focus, your capacity to hold more money and success and visibility. And it's your ability to take action or not, right? If your nervous system feels unsafe, it'll literally shut down your ability to move forward. So it's not mindset, it's biology. So when your nervous system is dysregulated, remember it's ready to go. It's in that fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. So um, this is anything from trauma or stress or chronic burnout. It flips into that survival mode. So fighting might be overworking or controlling or perfectionism. Flight might be procrastination or avoidance or, like the shiny object syndrome. I got to go get the other thing. Or freezing might be burnout or emotional numbness or stuckness. And fawning could be like the people pleasing, like I said earlier, or loss of identity or the fear of saying no. So when you're in survival mode, even simple tasks can feel overwhelming. So again, it's no amount of strategy, no amount of self-help books or hustle is going to help you scale when your body thinks it's in danger. So bringing yourself into alignment, that's where your power comes. That's, when your nervous system feels safe, you unlock access to your full capacity. You stop reacting from fear, start responding from power. So a regulated nervous system lets you take consistent action without burning out. Feel safe being seen and heard. hold more clients or money or success without sabotaging, trusting your intuition, creating from joy and not from pressure. This is true energetic leadership when you no longer collapse under pressure, but you expand through it. So it's not a mindset hack, it's a full body shift. And that's your greatest power source. It's what allows you to hold more without it costing you health or relationships or joy. So some of y'all may know Joe Dispenza, Dr. Joe Dispenza. So he talks about a lot of the mind body connection in his teachings, specifically how your thoughts and emotions can directly influence the chemistry of your body. And this is, like the thoughts actually involves producing proteins. So, and he'll probably explain it a lot better than I can, but every time you have a thought, your brain is going to release these little like chemical messengers, right? Like they're little neuro transmitters, or they're like the hormones and stuff. And it's going to match the emotional tone of the thought. So if you think a stressful thought, you're going to release things like cortisol and adrenaline. But if you think a joyful and loving, grateful thought, you start to release things like oxytocin, dopamine, serotonin. So those chemicals are going to bathe every cell in your body, and the emotions are the end product of your thoughts. So this is getting more into the sciencey side, right? Like the more intense and intensely and consistently you feel these emotions, the more you reinforce that emotional state biologically. So inside every single cell, the receptors, they're going to pick up these chemical signals. And when a receptor receives a signal like, cortisol, it tells the DNA in the cell to produce a specific protein in response. So these proteins, they're the building blocks to your biology. They regulate how your body functions, and how you repair tissues, and so like your immune response. And it also influences things like metabolism and hormones and even your gene. So when you consistently think stressful thoughts or fearful thoughts, your body keeps producing proteins that are related to stress and inflammation and cellular breakdown. So when we talk about, again, like body keeps the score, stored emotions, they're seeing this finally, like scientifically, like they're finding that all of these diseases and symptoms and things that are going on inside of our bodies are actually more tied to emotions than anything else. So when you start to think elevated thoughts like gratitude and joy or possibility, your body will start producing different proteins, the ones that are for healing and growth and balance. So this is where we get into epigenetics with the genes. It your shows your genes are not your destiny. It's not something that you just inherit from somebody, aside from like a few things like type 1 diabetes and sickle cell. Like your environment, your beliefs, your emotions, they can determine whether genes are expressed or silenced, whether they turn on or off, right? It's like a little message board here. So again, like when you're having symptoms like chronic inflammation or digestive issues or pains, like all of these are tied to those genes. So chronic stress, like that's, they know, like that's something that can cause cardiac issues, right? They know that. Science knows that. So elevated emotions, that's how people are able to heal themselves from cancer, by thinking of positive outcomes. And I see it like in healthcare all the time. Like I have patients that are woe is me, and they don't do well on chemo. And then I have the people that refuse chemo, but they're thinking the positive thoughts and they heal themselves. Like it's like they think it's like an anomaly, but it's not, because everybody has this power to do that. So if you keep thinking the same thoughts, you keep firing the same neural pathways, like you're triggering the same emotional responses, producing the same proteins, which means your body stays stuck in that same chemical state. And over time, this creates your coded personality encoded biology. Like it's, like we know that if we can change our thoughts, feel a new emotion, even if it's just for 10 minutes during a meditation, like you begin producing different chemistry, activating different genes, and creating new proteins that lead to healing and transformation. Like, how freaking cool is that? So, your personality, and this is something that he teaches a lot too, is like your personality creates your own personal reality. So, if you want to change your reality, you have to start with your thoughts and your emotions and your energy. Yeah, it's so freaking cool. Like, the mind is so powerful, right? When it works with you, like when we want it to work with us, it can do some really cool things. So as we're really exploring in the, the thought process, we're also exploring bringing yourself into coherence. So another thing that is very scientifically and actually introduced into the medical community now is the Heart Math Institute. And so there's a link between your brain and your heart, a link that holds the key to resilience, emotional resilience, inner clarity, energetic alignment. So your heart and your brain, like they're more than just organs. They have their own like network and an electromagnetic field. It's often referred to as the heart brain, right? It's not just the heart and brain, it's the heart brain. So it sends your heart actually has a little bit more space that it'll transfer out in the actual coherence field or the electromagnetic field, but um it's basically your heart brain sends more signals to the brain than the brain sends to the heart. And those signals directly influence how we perceive the world and process emotions and even make decisions. So when our brain and our heart are out of sync, like during times of stress or overthinking, the whole system goes into this incoherence, this dissonance. But when they are coherent, meaning like in harmony and alignment, we experience a deep sense of peace and clarity and intuitive connection. So, what is heart brain incoherence? So, I like to think about it like a people hitting a drum, right? So, if our heart is like hitting the drum, like beep, 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 but our brain is going blip, 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 like there's like they're not matching, right? Like they're going different speeds. So in times of stress or fear or overthinking, like we're not connecting, right? Things are not lining up. We're overthinking, but emotionally shut down, maybe, or you're feeling stressed, anxious, or overwhelmed, or stuck in fear, or self doubt, or judgment, or you're resisting what you're actually feeling. You're stuffing it. So in this state, the neural signals between your heart and your brain, again, they're disordered, like they're not connecting, they're chaotic. Your heart rate variability. So any of you, like people that track your heart rate variability, like your recovery, it's the rhythm of your heartbeat. It can become jagged or unpredictable or fragmented. Yeah, it's really cool stuff. So when your heart and brain are out of sync, it throws your entire nervous system into this disarray. So again, cortisol's up, your prefrontal cortex, like your decision making, um, goes offline. Your immune system weakens. Your digestion slows or shuts down. Your sleep gets disrupted, which also is a factor in HRV. And you get this like tension that builds up around your body and your muscles and your fascia. So energetically, you're going to feel really disconnected or exhausted or drained, or you're unable to focus and think clearly or access your intuition. You'll go into reactive states instead of responsive states, and you're going to be closed off from the possibilities that are out here, because you're going to be in a very focused foveal view. I can only focus on what's right here, and you're going to miss everything out here. You're essentially running in survival mode, and that's going to limit access to your intuition and your higher consciousness. It's going to limit creativity. It's going to limit joy and flow. So on an energetic level, incoherence, it's scrambling, like it's scrambling your electromagnetic field. Your energy signal becomes noisy. So again, like we're talking about that static with the radio signal, it's harder for your intentions to broadcast clearly out into the quantum field. You're more likely to attract misaligned experiences because you're vibrating at a level of fear or urgency or fragmentation. And we'll talk a little bit more about vibration level tomorrow. But others can feel this. Have you ever heard the saying that your energy is felt when you walk into a room before you even say a word? Yeah. So even if your words are positive, your field, your energy does not lie. And people can feel that. So in this state, like it's gonna feel like trying to get to your goals by swimming upstream, because your heart and your brain, they're not aligned with your desires. So when you're in coherence, you're magnetically bringing people to you. Your nervous system is in that parasympathetic state. It's relaxed, it's rest digest. Your immune system is actually going to go up. Your emotions are going to I love it. Your emotions are going to regulate more easily. You access your higher guidance and get all those creativity sparks, and it influences your environment just by you being present there. So I like to talk a lot about, you don't have to fix anybody. You don't have to, like, your partner doesn't have to go through the work with you. You're going to automatically energetically vibrate in a state where that either they match your tone or they fall off. And sometimes that's hard, right? Like that's hard because we want everybody that's in our life to come with us. But I like to say it's, like what's meant for us is meant for us. And so we're going to attract people that are meant for us when we're in that state. So what's really cool too, Bumble app. So is that dating? It might. I mean, I'm sure that you can vibrate in such a positive way and put it out in the universe that you're only going to attract people that, see you. Like I know that actually, you know what? I do know that this works because one of my mentors, she had a client that all the so that like all the people that her client was seeing on the app was like people that didn't resonate with her like at all, like they ended up being bad for her. But once she changed her frequency and upped it, like only the people that were meant for her in a vibrational that matched her frequency were showing up then. So then she had some really good dates after that. But yes, so what's really cool is the heart, like I said, it has an electromagnetic field, and it's actually 5,000 times stronger than the brain's field. So it can be measured for now, like from the tools that we actually have to measure it, from up to 3 feet away from the body. And this field carries the emotional and energetic information. So when you enter coherence, again, your field becomes more ordered and stable and magnetic, which literally uplifts the people around you. And like it's also measured by the HRV with like our watches and stuff. Um, it's increasingly recognized in neuroscience and cardiology even, and psychology, and they know that it improves health and reduces anxiety and even enhancing your cognitive performance. So if you're negative and you look for negative versus positive, it attracts positive. So yeah, you attract the same vibration, the same frequency that you're on, so you attract those things to you at that same frequency. So I know we're already over the hour, but I did want to do a little heart-brain coherence meditation. So if y'all want to stick around. So if it is safe to do so, just finding a quiet, comfortable place to sit or lie down and close your eyes down. And just let your breath settle, breathing all the way down into your belly. Just bringing your attention inward. And I just want you to center your awareness right in your heart. And you can even put your heart on your chest, or your hand on your heart, on your chest, just right where your heart is. And just feel the warmth of your hand on your chest. Bringing your full attention and awareness to your heart. And just see yourself breathing into this space as if you're breathing through your heart, in and out. And start to breathe a little bit more slowly, a little more deeply than usual. Just inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Just let every breath be gentle and smooth and even. Stop forcing anything. allowing your breath to settle into an easy rhythm. And now, while continuing to breathe into your heart space, just begin to recall a time you felt a positive emotion. Maybe this was a appreciation for someone, maybe a love for a pet, or gratitude for a moment in nature, or simply the peace of being alive. Just let that feeling grow in your heart. Just really feel it, breathe it, amplify it. Inhale appreciation. Exhale doubt. Inhale love. Exhale fear. Inhale presence. Exhale tension. And just feeling that emotion, that amplifying it. Maybe bringing a smile to your face. With every breath, you are syncing the rhythm of your heart with the activity of your brain. You enter into the heart brain coherence. It's a state of deep alignment. You feel your body harmonizing. Feel your nervous system calming. Feel your mind becoming clear and focused. Right now, you are broadcasting a powerful field of coherence into the space around you. You're affecting others, affecting the field. Stay with the feeling. Now, from this state, place a coherent intention into your field, not from lack or fear, but from knowing and alignment. It might be peace or clarity or abundance or health, whatever your soul is calling in. See it in your mind, feel it in your heart. Breathe it into your field. Start to bring your awareness back to your body, feeling your feet and your hands, taking a nice final deep breath in through your heart. You can say to yourself, I am in coherence. I carry this frequency with me. And when you're ready, just open your eyes. Do you guys know how powerful you are? I can feel that all the way over here, all that love. Mm, beautiful. So now that we're back in our space and back in the room, I'm just going to do a quick introduction here to the Visionary You program. So, as we know, transformation is not a one time meditation, a one time moment. It's a commitment to who you're becoming. And if you felt anything stir during this REWIRE event, if your nervous system is asking for more support, if you're asking for a release, more alignment with your vision, then this is where we get to go deeper. So, this is a 90-day program that I offer. I just finished one class last month. So, we're starting a new 90-day class. And it's an experience for people who are ready to rewire from the inside out and finally lead with their soul. So, this is where you get to break free from your old identity and step into your highest soul aligned self. You reprogram those beliefs that keep sabotaging business or relationships or health or visibility. Like, you embody the version of yourself who doesn't just want success, but peace and alignment, and you live it. So, what this course has, so again, like I talk about this, we go through many different layers so that it sticks. So, we're going to do weekly group coaching. It's teaching and coaching, but we dive deep. So we're going to dive deep more into the themes of identity and intuition and expression and regulation and actual soul alignment. And then every other week is a Q&A call. So if you ever feel stuck, you have an opportunity to bring it to the group. So I like to do groups because then everybody learns off of each other. People will bring questions up that somebody else didn't think about. But not only that, we're also going to do one-on-one. We're going to talk one-on-one so that we really drill it down. And that's every month. Every month is going to be a subconscious release. We're going to reprogram. So we're working from the conscious side in our thoughts and actually paying attention to all the micro steps, and then looking at the subconscious so that we can rewrite the scripts. We clear those emotional and energetic patterns that are running your life. And then I do bonuses that it's supplements in between the classes, but the breathwork subscription. I have a whole library of not only breath work, but EFT and hypnosis, but depending on what you want to work on. So I also have guided activations for abundance and inner child and stress and anxiety relief and even money rewiring. So this is something that, again, like I've had plenty of people that have gone through the programs. I have tons of amazing reviews, including one, Desiree. She just went through my last month's program, where she says she had such a great experience. She enjoyed learning about how the subconscious mind works and being reminded of how powerful we actually are. Jen challenges the societal beliefs that most people have accepted as the norm and offers a new perspective that felt much more supportive to me. Everything is energy, and we have the ability to create the life of our dreams. If you're an entrepreneur or someone who wants to level up in your healing journey, I would highly recommend this program. Jen is very kind, patient, and will support you throughout the whole program. She offers a unique blend of breathwork, subconscious reprogramming, and conscious learning of new concepts and practical strategies that can implement in your daily life. I know it can be scary to invest in yourself, but in my opinion, this is one of the best investments you can make. And that just makes my heart sing, because we're all scared to invest in ourselves, right? Um, this all started with me doing the work myself. So that's how I'm able to bring it to other people. And so I know it works. I've done it with countless other people. So this is basically my signature program. I do um, 2 to 3 times a year, depending on how it lines up with this. But this is something that we're going to be starting again next month. So we're going to be talking more about this program in the next class. But again, I like to end each day with a reflection. So this is something we get to write in our journal. What am I holding? Am I still holding on to? Where? Oh my gosh, I can't even read. Where am I still holding on to energy that isn't mine? So this opens you up for the next class, where we're going to do another type of release with breath work. So you can see that energy. Where is it still hanging out? Is it even mine? Yeah. Very good. Now, I would like to just open it up for any questions, any reflections, any ahas. Maybe what you experienced with the heart-brain coherence exercise. You don't have to share your intention, but maybe some of the things that you felt. Hold the energy of everyone else's desires and dreams through empathy. Yeah. Yeah. And then we forget about ourselves, right? Forget we're important too. Auditing my thoughts, emotions, and energy, heart brain term is pretty unique. Yeah. We have energy has such an effect on everything around us. And we are so conditioned to think about everything in the, you know, particle mass world, like the things that we can see, feel, and touch, right? But some of the most powerful things out there are things that are not, that we can't see, right? Confidence, that's not something we can touch or feel or see. Like we can kind of see, right? Like we can see somebody if they're standing like with their shoulders back, right? But that's something we feel. Energy is going to dictate so much in our life, our frequency, what we're putting out in the world. What's your question? You can come off you.
Hello. Um, so my experience recently after doing some of the release work with you, um, is that that big wall I had kept up for a very long time, some of it is down. I still have a lot of work to do, but then I had a very emotional week, a lot of stress, a lot of things going on. And somewhere in the process, I didn't know how to handle all the emotion I was feeling that I had compartmentalized all
Mm.
these years. And I had this overflood of emotions and feelings and didn't know what to do with it. So I know I need to find a way to release it and to um, source it elsewhere. But at the same time, you know, this is where, yeah, obviously I'm really intrigued with all this work and I'm doing the work. And it's just that I'm at this point now, like, what do I do with it?
Mm. Yeah.
Like I can't have these breakdown weeks where I don't know what to do with this. I want to get to where I'm releasing it somehow out throughout the week versus all of a sudden it's overflowing and I don't know what to do with it kind of thing. I guess that's what my question is. How do you control that?
Yeah. So it's not always convenient to feel your emotions right in the middle of a board meeting or when you're driving in the car with kids, right? Like there's a time and the place, right? And yes, we've been conditioned to stuff our emotions down and not feel them at all, but you can tell yourself it's not appropriate for this right now. We're going to, bookmark this and we're going to come feel this later. And it's basically it's like training a dog, honestly. Like you're going to tell your brain like not right now. This is something we're going to do, Saturday night. We're going to cut out some time and we will cry and scream and thrash and do whatever the hell we want. But this doesn't, like it's not open the floodgates and just let it all come out right now. So we get to tell our brain, we're coming back to this. Don't worry. We're going to feel it, but we get to cut out the time for it too. And so that's going to your brain's going to be like, okay, well, she's not going to forget about me. That's all it really cares about, because when we're doing the work again, we're taking out the outer layers and more things are going to start popping up. We're letting the bubbles rise so that they can be released. So your subconscious is kind of like, hey, everything, like just paying attention to me, just let everything go now, like. And so there's a time and a place, and it doesn't have to overtake our day if we put boundaries and parameters around it. Yeah. And yes, so the investment, and I was going to go into that more tomorrow, but if you are curious, I am doing early bird pricing until the 29th. So schedule is and that's just the page if you wanted to drop into it. But the schedule as far as the weekly meetings is going to be on Wednesdays. And I typically do those around, and I like to kind of poll people also who's in the program, but I typically do those around 6 p.m. Central Time. And then the Q&A calls will be on more than likely every other Thursday around the same time. So, and then again, like I poll people, so we try to come to a general consensus on time and stuff so that it benefits more people to be on live. Of course, everything is recorded as well and put in the portal page. Any other questions? Anybody else want to share what came up? Yeah. Thank you for coming, Stacy. Thank you for coming, Letty. I always love seeing your ahas. Right. So tomorrow, and let's go over the schedule real quick. Thank you, Jenny. Let's share screen to work again. So tomorrow. So we're going to talk about the future you frequency. And we're going to do another guided guided visualization of your future self, of your future you, where we put ourselves, in a timeline for a future goal at the end. We're going to talk about how aligned action actually beats out the hustle and how we create your new operating system. And then of course at the end we'll talk again about the opportunity, but we'll also do some more Q&A. So if there's any questions, we can talk about it then. Beautiful. So I appreciate you guys all. And for the ones that are live, I love you. And for the ones that are watching the recording, I love you too. All right, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Same time. Again, same bat channel, 3 p.m. Central Time. And yeah, have an amazing rest of your day. Bye, guys.